So we are live, everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend, and also I hope y'all have some plans and enjoy yourselves tomorrow with the Fourth. The market is closed tomorrow, so I probably won't be doing a huddle tomorrow because I'm gonna kind of spend the day getting ready, and um, my family and we have a lot of plans tomorrow. So and I hope y'all do have the same. Just take a day, relax, rest. We got a big day coming up Wednesday as we're still expected to open up the launch of the Tasty Trade ATA, which I will cover a little bit of that today. So let's talk about the market real quick. I'm going to go into the SPY here and talk a little bit about our day on Friday. So Friday, where was it? You can see the market opened about right here. It immediately took off. You can see we were technically in the after hours in a long anyways, right? So we had a nice play up that some people took. And then we jumped right into a nice double top, which is called the short, and that indicator called it out perfectly. What we were looking at here, you can kind of see we boxed it in, was if we did reject off of this top here, which was actually, we had pulled it from this peak and this peak, right? So when we came down and we came up and we rejected again, we knew that this short was in a really good play, right? So a lot of us did not enter into this area here. We waited up for this double top, and we caught this pullback down here. Now, my concern was here's the neckline. If we could not break this neckline, right? So we trailed that through. We did get a pump, which failed to break that neckline on that double top. I honestly thought it was gonna break. So it was pretty surprising, that we did gain some support, and that support allowed us to push up. The moment we broke this line here, I knew this was invalidated, and you can see everybody else did too, so they all went long. You can see the indicator did well, flipped into a long, caught that long, flipped into a short, caught the short right at market open, or market close, I'm sorry. So this is market close. It was mostly a bullish day on Friday, but there was a couple of put scalps that could have been made throughout that. So kind of where do we go from here? Like I've been saying, there can be some upside. I think what I talked about before when we went to the 1 hour chart is that what we want to watch is this peak here, right, which we did mark on our chart, which was 443.91. My call was if we can break above this with some strength and we can hold above it with support, then we're likely to see a lot more upside. If you look at the 1 hour chart, we do have the bearish call already from our indicator. We do have resistance off of here, not once, but twice. We are looking into a double top. Now, for me to be convinced this double top is going to truly play out, we not only have to break this neckline of 442.72, but we have to break below the 1 hour 21 SMA. So that's going to be kind of what to watch for today. If we do get some strength on market open and we break below that, we're likely to see some more bearishness pull back, right? So we could probably get as low as down here around 438, 439 today. If we flip that. Now, the bullish scenario is if we invalidate this double top and we hold above 442.60 or so, and it holds us some strength, it's going to create a squeeze in here. And if this squeeze pops north, it's going to pop with some strength. And we could see as high as 446, right? 446.19. But keep in mind, we are overbought, and we are aiming down currently. So if this is to flip red, then I would definitely anticipate that the bearish is going to play out before the bullish. So you can kind of watch this. If we start to curl up like this, right, then we're going to get into that squeeze. The two area of squeeze you want to play or watch for is going to be the 21 SMA on the 1 hour and this trend line, which this trend line was, I think it was pretty far back. Let me see. Yeah, I have to go to the daily. So if you're looking where I got that trend line, this is where I got it. It's just a two-point trend line. You got this peak and then this peak, right? So that's kind of where we're watching on that. So That's how I'm going to play the SPY today anyways. If you look on the 2 minute currently, I believe on the after hours, yeah, I threw it short on the after hours right here. We got a lot of red here. We do have a little bit of green. As far as the order blocks, it's pretty balanced, right? So it could go up a little bit into the 443 range again to retest this before coming down, or we could come down to retest the 442.01 before going back up. So we may just be ranging here, right? So just kind of play your range. This is where patience and discipline comes in, and you just want to trust your indicators. So currently on the 2 minute, we did have a minor bullish divergence, but we are red heading back down. So we'll see how the momentum opens when the market hits. So SPX, I'm not going to touch on a lot, but if you look at the SPX, we had a peak here. We have not quite broke the trend line on the SPX yet, causing that pullback down this way to the 21 SMA. Actually, that is not the 21 SMA. Hold on, that is the 200. I was zoomed out. Apologize. Yeah, that's the 200. I have the harmonic muted. That's why. All right. There we go. There's the 21. So the 200 is down here. Our 21 SMA is up here. And so what I'm looking for here is we did create that higher high, and so if we do get at this double top again, it's kind of uglier, right? But if we are below the SMA, if it continues to break this right here, which is around 44, 46, then I would look for at least a retest. And you can see this is around 43.91, which correlates what I was saying with SPY. So let's take a look at the Dixie. You can see it's just been kind of really ranging. I mean, it looks ugly, right? But we've had our dumps, our pumps, our dumps, our pumps. And look, it actually hit right off of our trend line. Remember, this was that trend line that we had like this, that it broke with some steam, found support, came up, pumped it, and then we did end up rejecting off of that. So, the Dixie, we could look at my kind of localized anticipation would be something like that. I like to take 2 points. If we get a bounce here, right, then it's going to come up and create a higher high. However, if we break this, then that's going to fall pretty good, which obviously that inverses to the market. So that's kind of the levels that I would watch on that. The VIX, you can see, got a nice little push north here, but it rejected off the same exact level that it's rejected a ton of times, right? So that's a big level to watch, because if we can break above here 1386, right, then that's going to give us a pretty nasty push north, something like up here around 1461, which will drop the market for sure. But currently it's showing a little weakness, right? So we might need, if you're a bull, then you want this to come down and break below here, right? Which is the 200 EMA. On the 2 minute. If you're a bear, then you want this to break above here, right, to push north. So let's talk a little tech stocks. Apple is just a blast to watch. Why this thing came down like this, as you can see, we had this thing on Friday was just all-time high after all-time high after all. It was so freaking crazy to watch. But it did pump up here. It did crash back, found some crazy early support, pumped up, created another all-time high. Had some early support double bottom, which just people got super excited about that. And then they all pushed it up as high as here. So Apple hit, I believe the high on this one was 194.48. And then we just kind of, we pulled back, went into a little bit of a accumulation phase. And then they made one more attempt at it, right? And then I believe this one, 194.50 was the peak on that. So just barely made another all-time high. You can see the wick a little higher. And then just hardcore rejection. And that hardcore rejection, because we did have a double hit, and it was a hard rejection. You can see where it hit, it within 2 minutes pulled back that far, right? So people see that as potentially bearish. Now, also, on top of that, if you look on the 2 minute, now we have flipped in the after hours, and we are holding resistance on the 200 EMA. So might be a little bit more pullback, right? Because you can see we have not done that since like 189. So I would say for Apple, I would mark a line if you're trading it around 193.15. That's right here. You want to see resistance, what was once resistance, continue to act as support. If it does continue to act as support, right, what you can do if you want to take a call on this is just take like like a little trend line like this, right? And then you can kind of wait to see if that continues to act as support. Now, keep in mind, this is a descending triangle, right? So you'd want to see it hang up top here, not hang down bottom here. If it hangs down the bottom here, we're going back down further. So, again, I would, just me, I'm not taking calls on Apple. So, but also I'm not trading Apple because I don't like taking puts against something that's made all-time highs like damn near every day. So let's talk about Amazon. So this is the 2-minute. You can kind of see on the 2-minute, we've just been really ranging. I mean, it's been going down, back up, coming across. Tons of red here, which leads me to believe that we probably have a little more downside before we go up. Because our indicators are not only calling shorts, but you got A, B, C, D, double top. I mean, a lot of bearishness short term. Long term on the 1 hour kind of supports that in my mind, because you can see here it has not been able to break this level, like 131 or so. It's hit it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So if it breaks 129.94, then we're definitely gonna see some downside. Now the 1 hour does have us in a long, which is interesting, but it's gonna, the level you want to watch is if you break this SMA, you want to take that put because you're gonna ride it down to the EMA. If you want to ride a call, then you're gonna want to wait for it to break 131 with some steam, then hold the pullback and then capture that, right? On the 1 hour we are calling bearish too, so by the way. So I would be really careful on a call up here because the likelihood is that we're more likely to pull back on this than push up. Microsoft. So I think I drew some lines here. These lines actually played out if you look at them. Like, let's watch. So a lot of times when I draw this line here, what I'm doing here is just like I said, right? If you break it and then you retest the line, that's that put, right? And that played out perfect. That line, just a little micro line like this. You can see the put. You would enter the put on the rejection here. Bam, instant win, right? And then we had this line here. This was our kind of call zone, right? And so you can see once we broke through here, right, then you would be clear for your call, and then that played out really well. And this is how we scalp in the room. I didn't trade this. I think I was doing this TA for someone else in the room. So currently we are, the one thing I will say about Microsoft though is it already is above. So you have this resistance here, a lot of resistance in here, and we're holding above that. So if it can hold above 383.53, we can definitely get some more upside. There's like a little mini, I would call it somewhat of a mini bull flag kind of forming, right? So it might get a little bit of more of a pullback and then have that pop north. It's very, very possible. I'm going to kind of skim through these because I do want to talk about the ATA. Google on the 1 hour, I talked about this last week. The thing I don't like about Google is we're beginning to get a very kind of rounded top look, almost like an inverted cup and handle, which is typically going to end up very bearish. So now, however, you can see the line that I broke here. It did break it and it is retesting as support. The only thing I would say that would break this out of this is if we can come down like this, right, and then create some type of a little bit higher time frame double bottom look, right, and then it might be able to break north out of that. But as of right now, I don't see a lot of strength in Google, so I would definitely not be taking a call on that one. If anything, if it comes down here and it does happen to break this 116 level, which is only being held up from right here, that thing can go as low as 103. So if anything, you're definitely going to want to be thinking more put on Google. Tesla. I'm going to kind of try to skim through these guys. So you can see Tesla. We talked about this Friday. What I didn't like about Tesla at first is because we do have resistance here, right? We have this here, right? So if obviously if it could break that, then it would come up and retest this, which it looks like it literally retested the whole thing. On the 1 hour, Tesla is overbought like a mother. I mean, if you're taking a call on Tesla up here, you are gambling to play that one, because if you really zoom out on Tesla, you can see we now have a push up, a rejection, right, from this kind of head and shoulder looking. And then we pushed up again, one more explosion up, but it's already rejecting off of the high of where it was, right? So if this does pull back, this is looking on probably a higher time frame, very double topish. So if you do get a pullback on this, I don't know that right away it's going to pull back a lot. I would look for at least a pullback retest of 265 before I would enter a call, because this is prior resistance, right? So if you get a pullback of 265 and you start to hold strength to come up to retest this, you can play that call, right? But in the meantime, we have a lot of gap fills being called here. We're super overbought on the 1 hour. Let me look at the 2 minute. 2 minute, we're a little bit oversold, but I would not take a call on Tesla unless we get some kind of retest of strength. So, and I probably wouldn't take it until somewhere around here, 265 or so. Just let this fall, right? And if you get below this, if you scalp like me on the 2 minute, you get below this 21 SMA, you can ride that down and put my opinion there. You got AMD, QQQ, and Meta. I don't really have a lot more time, so I might actually skip these. If y'all want TA on that, just come into the room. I'll be happy to do it. Last time I spent so much on the tech stocks, I didn't even do crypto, and I totally didn't even pay attention to that. So for those who are wanting crypto, Bitcoin, you can see temporarily our indicators kind of been going through long and short on that. We are in a support zone, that for sure. So let's take a look at the 1 hour and just see kind of what we're doing. So if you see on Bitcoin, at the end of the day, we're really just ranging, right? We pumped up, we fell, we pumped up, we fell, we pumped up. I mean, it just literally keeps doing these parabolic moves. Bitcoin is in a different spot than Ethereum now, because if you look, Bitcoin has not been able to break this 30,800 that we keep talking about. It's got to flip that. It just has to. If it can flip this as support, so if we can get some kind of bullish open, right, and push up above here to retest 31, then I would look for a pullback of support around 30,008, and then that's where you'd want to enter your long. I would not enter the long on the breakout, because you look here, we broke out, fell, broke out, fell, broke out, fell. And these are not small, right? I mean, this is 31K all the way back down to 29.9, right? So you can get pretty trapped. I would want to see a breakout, hold support up here, then that explosion is going to come. Anything short of that, and guys, y'all know how I feel about gap fill. I mean, this gap is just hanging on by a thread, right? I mean, we literally punched up and we're just going sideways. So, this is what we call distribution phase. So, that's just kind of all we're doing is just trading sideways. Even look at the RSI is just hanging out sideways, right? So, that's kind of where I'm at with it. If you want to take shorts, you can if you're scalping in the room and you want to take shorts, anywhere up here around 30,007 or so, 30,008 is going to be a good short. Just set a stop loss, above these wicks here, and then you can keep scalping those down. If you're going to take longs, I'd hang out till you get to about 30,100. Keep scalping this range, but just set your stop losses right, because the likelihood of a breakout is going to be pretty close, because if we hit north, right, we're going to break north. If we break this SMA, then we're going to break south pretty hard. So let's talk about Ethereum. So Ethereum, if y'all remember back here, I was talking about how that 1900 to 1920, 1930 range is just such a crazy resistance. And it played out for so long. You can see how long we just ranged in this thing, right? And so if you look at, we came down, we retested the area here of support, and then that caused a push north. Once it broke here, notice the volume of candles actually just took off, right? So you can see the volume began to pick up, right, and exploded because it broke that resistance level, right, which is pretty normal for it to do. Now, the next resistance level typically is around 1980 or so. So it did pull back a little bit early from here, pulled all the way back to 1930. It did find some support, came up, found a higher low off of the 200 EMA on the 2 minute. And then that basically, allowed it to push up with some strength, and we finally hit our close to 1980, 1978 or so. We did find some support on this 200 EMA again, not once but twice. So as far as what's next for Ethereum, just watch this 200 EMA. As long as we stay above this thing, right, it's going to continue to squeeze north. But it's also heavily dependent on the stocks as well as on Bitcoin. So if it can flip this 200 EMA with some strength down to 1950, somewhere around here, come up and reject off it, then I would start to believe that we have some more downside. Now, the Bollinger Band, you can see, was green here. We were green all through this. It did flip red slightly, and then we are still kind of in an orange-red conversion. So on the 2 minute, you do have kind of equal highs here, and you do have lower highs here, so a little bit of divergence there. If you go to the 1 hour, we could pull back all the way to 1941 for a retest. If we break that, then we're going to come back and retest here around 1892. So, but you can see, look at these pre-lines that we did. We talked about this resistance level. Here's the line to watch, and that played out well, right? So we are hanging out above that. So let's talk about the ATAs. I haven't even watched LTC. I don't know if that... I think I was asking around the room. I don't think anybody's in the LTC trade, but I figured I'd just let this thing go. Yeah, this thing pumped up to like 109. So I'm not going to do anything with it, right? We're going to wait for the fall. The entry is not too bad if you did get stuck in that. But everybody I've talked to, they all just closed it and got their stuff off of KuCoin. So I hope you did the same. But let's talk about the ATAs for options. Guys, we got some really cool stuff coming out. So let me bring this up here. So, for those that are new on TikTok watching this or YouTube, we have always been kind of in the crypto space. And we love the crypto space. I believe digital is the future for sure. I own plenty of crypto. I continue to plan to trade crypto, to buy crypto. But for what we do, as far as the ATAs, we don't want to worry or stress about our funds being on a certain exchange or, what's going on with it. And so a while back, we started building an options ATA working on Tasty Trade. We're actually working on one for TD Ameritrade as well. And the reason why we did that is because if you're in the US, you know that there's not an option to trade on leverage pretty much now. I mean, it's nothing safe, right? The SEC has done a good job just eradicating all that. And so if you're looking to make any kind of really decent returns, options is a good way to go because, you're not really on that leverage per se, but it's you're trading contract prices, and so you can actually make more on options if done right than you can trading crypto futures like we were. So we began working on creating a bot or an automated trading assistant on that trades options well before the exchanges stopped because we saw the writing on the wall. And then once BitGet and some others went down, KuCoin, we just kind of worked double time on it. So I just wanted to show y'all kind of where we're at. And for those that don't understand, we're going to have two programs. We're still going to have the copy trade where I'm going to run it. I'm going to record it like this. You guys can follow. If you want to follow it on copy trade, you don't even need a TradingView account. You can just literally log in, fund your account, and connect it to mine, and that's it, right? You don't connect it to mine, you connect it to the website. And then my account is the one that will trigger, and anybody following that will trigger with it. And then the other option, if you're one that understands options and you want to trade it yourself, you can literally get the indicator that will get put on your chart, just like this. Just you get to have exactly what I have here. So you can see these are the trades. I have both of them on just because I wanted to show you how powerful this thing is going to be. You can see each red one is a short, each green one, each blue one is a call. So you have a put on the red, a call on the blue. The green one is a sell of the call, and the orange is a sell of the put. And you can see how well this thing has done, right? And I'm going to talk about settings. Um, so even in an uptrend, so let's go ahead and mute the calls. You can see even in an uptrend, look at the puts that it took. I mean, it took one here, it did a nice DCA, right? Got right back out in the drop. Took another one, right? And it did miss this here, but that's okay. We don't catch them all. And it took some really good puts through here, right? And then look how well it handled the calls, even in a downtrend, right? It handled the scalps really, really well. Now, a lot of these trades are real tight right now because I have the take profit set really low. We're testing some different theories on the take profit. But the thing that I like, as many of you guys who trade options, you guys know, you're fighting time, so you don't really want to get stuck. I almost would rather it take a trade and either it goes into great profit, or it goes into a little bit of profit and retraces, and I'd rather it just kill it, right, and look for another one, because you don't want to get stuck. I mean, that's the objective, right, is the thing, because the fees are so small, so you're still going to earn, as long as you go green at all, you're still going to earn something for sure. But we're still playing with the default settings. We'll have those released by Wednesday. But this is kind of what it looks like. You're going to have the call or put. Currently, we're just going to do the SPY. We'll expand on that later. Tasty Trade currently is the only option. We do have the two strategies. I'm actually going to add the other ones back because there's some instances where they're actually really good. You get to determine your contract days. So if you want to do a 3-day ATA, you can. It'll search for 3 days. Now, the contract days are going to be important to watch if you're doing it yourself, because you have to make sure 3 days is a viable option for that day. So, like, for example, you can't do a 1-day contract on a Friday, right? The exchange is going to reject it. So you're going to have to stay aware of that. It's not going to be like futures crypto if you want to run it yourself, where you can just set it and forget it and check back in a month, right? Because you are going to have to manage the contract days a little bit. If you want to set and forget it, check back in a month, then you would have no option but other than to go copy trade. So we are going to make a little modification here, but we're basically, instead of a no trade zone, we're going to create this as a trade zone, so you'll be able to set the hours. So if you only want to trade from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., right, you can set that. So that change will probably happen today. Strike price, this is going to be the price that you want to take. We can only measure by percent, but you can see the strike price here, right, is going to be the white line. So you can see that it's 443, and your strike price is going to be 444.79. Our server will round it up, so you're pretty much going to take a 445. So if you're one that is familiar with how the strike prices work, you may not want to go that high. If you're taking, let's say a 1-day contract, you may want to have a lower strike price. So you just lower that percent, and you're going to see that will bring it down, right? So now this would end up taking a strike price of 444. Now, the reason why we measure by percent is because as the market moves, that it'll always move that strike price with it when it initiates another trade. So, but you do have the features to modify that. You can take up to 3 DCAs. This is going to be when you want to take the DCA. We do find on SPY, because it doesn't move quite as much all the time, that it is better to take a shorter DCA, because it's like, for me, through the testing, I like to give it one shot, take one DCA, either it gets out or stop out and look for another one, right? And then you're going to be able to have all your stop loss features, like stop loss, stop trade after stop loss, stop at end of day. So stop at end of day is a feature. Let's say I'm running 1-day contracts and I don't want anything to go over the next day, nothing, right? What it's going to do is, if you're in a trade like here, no matter what, at the end of the day, it will kill that trade and just let you reset, right? And that's I really like that feature. I might even run that when I run mine, because it's something that allows you to really never get super stuck, right? Sometimes you might endure a loss from it. Sometimes it might be slightly in profit, right? And you can see a lot of times it didn't even hit it, right? But if you look at this, I mean, not too far, but it's a way, like here, right? If you don't do it right, you would have got out. So there's times that it could help you not to do it. But again, it's your choice, right? Based on the day, based on TA, you can do it or you cannot. But even when you do get out here, right, it's still gonna take that loss, come in, flip back into a win, come back, flip back into a win, and then you're back on track, right? But look at this one. I mean, this would have just been a phenomenal trade right there. So super excited. Everything is working as planned on it. Can't wait to launch this thing. So we're putting this live to an account today. We'll run that through tomorrow. Obviously, is a holiday, and then our intent is to try to launch this on Wednesday. So yeah, like I said, just super exciting. More to come. But it is 9, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop this. And the last thing I'll leave it with is, we're not stopping at just options. We are planning on doing the stocks futures side as well on tastytrade. So if you're looking to do a futures account, we're going to be doing that too as well. And then, like I said, we are looking to bring on other exchanges too as we continue to expand this. So, but it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So check it out. We're not changing any of our price structures. Everything is as it is. The minimums are going to probably stay about the same as well. For those who trade out work, we are working with tastytrade. They gave us some help on the API code to implement into our server to monitor how much you're spending each contract to ensure that you don't get into a good faith violation. So everybody knows on tastytrade they let you just keep buying, right, and then penalize you later. So what we're going to be trying to implement is something that can record how much you're spending on these contracts. So when you go to do another one, if you are out of buy power, our server will just reject it because you don't want to be banned. So that's kind of what we've been fine tuning, is just some of those safety protocols. So, but we can talk more about it. If you guys have any questions, come on in the room. We'll be in the trading room. Today I'll probably only trade till maybe 11 or so Eastern, and then I'm going to get off so we can try to put this ATA to the test. So, but appreciate your guys' time, and we'll see you in the room shortly.